Hey guys, it's Shayla with the Arizona Criminal Justice Commission. I wanted to update you on the Phase 3 release that is happening. So we have several enhancements that are going to be going live here shortly. So I wanted to briefly outline those for you as well as demonstrate the differences that you'll see in the system, in addition to discussing things that may be coming up. So let's get into it. So several things have been completed for this release. First, I think most of you are going to be super happy to hear that the dashboard is coming back. So we've recreated the dashboard. It's going to be a list of unserved orders. Any user will be able to access the dashboard regardless of permission level, and it will show the list of unserved orders that are assigned to the agency of the user that's logged in. Second, we've got a service information packet. This was highly requested from our servicing agencies, a packet of information that really pulls all the data that we have together. So it's going to show you the defendant information, the plaintiff information, any service attempts that have been made, transfer assignment history. All of that information is now combined into one service information packet that you can print and access through the system. We've also got, of course, some enhanced reporting. We have created several canned reports for servicing agencies. So you'll be able to pull a list of reports where you have missing documents or your plaintiff notifications are due. So I'll demonstrate those for you as well. We've expanded the data collection for service transfers. So we've added some fields that'll be required to complete a transfer to another agency. We also expanded the number of plaintiff and defendant addresses that are being displayed. So prior, we were only displaying one address. Now we can display up to 3 addresses for both the plaintiff and the defendant. We also refactored the delay of service badge. So I'm going to dedicate a whole slide to that and really get into what the delay of service means, as well as explain and identify how the logic works within the system. And then finally, another long-awaited feature for essay administrators in the AZPOINT system, that import-export feature that some of you actually helped test is going with this release as well. So we're super excited to release these things to hopefully continue making AZPOINT better, and I will be demonstrating each of these in the slides to follow. So as previously mentioned, each user should now have access to the dashboard for their agency. So regardless of permission level, each user in AZPOINT should be able to see the dashboard button on the top right-hand side of the screen. Now to access the dashboard, you're going to click the dashboard button, and this is going to return the agency's dashboard or list of unserved orders that are currently assigned to them. So in this example, my agency doesn't get assigned orders, but you would see down here at the bottom a list of all the orders that are currently active and assigned to your agency for service. Again, all AZPOINT users can access this for their own agency. You're still able to filter and sort based on the criteria that you all are used to, but we've got this dashboard feature now where you can one-click button and see everything that's active assigned to you. You can also export this into a spreadsheet and work it from there as well. We also were able to implement a service information packet. So what this is a one-stop report where it's pulling together the data that we've received from several different sources. So oftentimes we heard from servicing agencies that it was frustrating to have to go into multiple places and click several different fields to get the information needed. You might have to go into service attempts or into the service assignments transfer history to get that full picture of what's happened. So we created this report that pulls it all together. So it's going to be accessible in two places. One, we have kind of this quick link here from the case history field. You can click view service information. That will toggle open a PDF document report with all of those fields listed. You can also access it from the actions under view print documents as well. But for this, let's click on view service information because again, that's your quick one-click link to the report. So this is what your report is going to look like, or your service information packet, if you will. We've got the date timestamp of when it was accessed in the header there. You're going to have the court case information. Then we're going to move through and get all the information we've got on the defendant, the plaintiff, the service attempt history, transfer history, all of the things, right? So we have court case information here, defendant information here, defendant information collected from the service of process information form here. So we're combining, again, all of the information from different sources into one place, and we've added labels so that you understand where the information has come from. So the difference, for example, in these fields is that this information is collected from the court, and then we have defendant information that was also collected from the service of process information form. Those could be the same, they could be different, but we want to give you everything we've got and identify where it came from so that there's no confusion on your end. So again, we've got the court case information at the top, followed by the defendant's information. We're going to give you the plaintiff information next, again, differentiated by where it was collected from. So we've got the court information here. We've got the plaintiff information from the service of process information form here. And then we're going to move into kind of the case history. So we've got the service attempts history, if there are any, and there are none here, so it's blank. And then we've got service assignment transfer history, so you can see, when it was issued and who it was assigned to, and then if any transfers have happened within that as well. So again, this is kind of a one-stop report pulling everything together in hopes that this is a packet. You do not serve this on the defendant. This is just for service information only. But the idea here is that we're giving you all the information you have access to in different places in one condensed report that you can access and kind of get an overview of what's happened in the case. So I hope this is helpful. This was super requested from our service agencies. Again, you can access this from the case history field here, this view service information, or you can also access this from actions. If you go to view print documents, you can view it and print it from there as well. We also expanded the data collection for the service transfers in AZPOINT. So if you want to transfer an order to another agency for service, there will be a few more pieces of information that will be required of you to complete that transfer. If you want to actually attempt to make a transfer, you will click Actions. I've pulled a case here. So Actions, click Service Transfers. We're going to see that Add button in the top right-hand corner. Click Add. Everything with a red asterisk is required, right? So we're going to add our information. Now you have to select a reason. We've programmed these 5 reasons into the system. The defendant's not in my jurisdiction, but within Arizona. The defendant's out of state and the sheriff must arrange service. Defendant's in custody. Other jurisdiction issue, my agency is unable to serve, or other. If you select other, you'll have to specify a reason. But if you select a different reason, that indicates to the receiving agency why you're transferring it to them. So we'll select a reason. Again, that's required. Now, either a city or a county is required. So we're transferring this. You can see that once I started entering the city, the county went away because it's either one or the other. And then as always, when you're transferring something to someone else, you need to leave comments. Please be as specific as possible and make sure that the information you're providing to that receiving agency is enough for them to make a service attempt. Ideally, you can provide them a physical address, but we recognize that that may not always be possible. So please make sure to leave detailed comments here so that the servicing agency on the receiving end knows kind of why you transferred it and additional information so they can make a service attempt as well. Then we'll click submit. And you can see that that order was transferred with the information that I left there. So that hasn't changed. I just wanted to note and point out that some additional fields will be required when you're making a transfer. And the idea here is that we're giving that receiving agency enough or more information to make an attempt so they can successfully serve this order as well. We also expanded the data collection for the defendant and the plaintiff's address fields. We were only able to display one previously. Now we're able to display up to 3 addresses for both the defendant and the plaintiff. So if we receive multiple addresses, we can display those here on screen. As you can see, we have a residential address for the defendant, a residential address for the plaintiff, as well as an employment or a business address for the plaintiff. So if you click on this plus button here, it'll expand and show you the address that was given. You can expand or minimize each of these windows, but if you see multiple listed there, if you simply click that plus button, it's going to display the address in that field. I've also attached on the slide here, and we can send it out as well, but I've attached the description codes for each of these address field labels. So keep that in mind, share with your teams, and if you have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out. You may be aware that the court has the ability to issue an order of protection, but delay service for up to 72 hours. So in those cases, we want to make sure that the case information is in AZPoint and is visible in case it's searched, but it's not going to be assigned to any particular agency for service right out of the gate. So let's say I'm going to use this case as an example. We've got a case that was issued April 25th. We can see that the start date is April 28th, and we see this delayed badge down here as well. This case was issued April 25th, and it's in the system and available, visible to everyone immediately, but it's assigned to this default agency of delay of service. Once April 28th hits and this delayed window is up, so we've reached the 72-hour delay, this delayed badge will be removed and hidden, and this will go out for service to the agency that it should go to, the law enforcement or the constable that needs to serve this. So again, when it's delayed, you should see this red badge indicating that it's delayed. You can see the date it was issued and when service should actively start, but we want the case to be in the system and visible, especially in the scenario where the plaintiff calls a law enforcement agency for service. So we want them to be able to view documents, print documents, view case information, but this isn't going to be assigned to any particular agency until that 72-hour window or whatever the time is that the judge set until that window is up, at which point the delay of service badge would be removed and it would go out for service. That servicing agency is going to get the email notification that the case has been assigned to them, and they can then actively start to work the case. This next update is only applicable to the essay administration users in AZPoint. So from the user management screen, this will return again your list or roster, if you will, of users assigned to your agency in the AZPoint system. You can export this into a spreadsheet. So click export, and then you can't see it in the top right hand side of my screen, but a download has popped up. So I was allowing the download and this spreadsheet opened up. Let me resize this here. So this is the file that downloaded from me hitting that export button, and it opened in Excel for me. Again, it might depend on your computer settings or how you have things set up, but for me it downloaded via Excel and I just clicked open the download. So you can see here we have a few fields. We've got user ID, first name, middle name, last name, any suffix, email, user type, badge number, is deactivated, and the last login. So I want to explain briefly each of these fields. User ID is an internal AZPoint system field. You'll never touch this. This is how, if we're going to add a user to the system, this is how AZPoint knows to assign it a new account. So never touch column A. If you want to add, we've got first name, middle name, last name, suffix. You can add email address or make edits to this spreadsheet, and then you can also assign their user type. You can add their badge number now. If you add their badge number and then import this back in, it should connect their profile. And so when that user is going to say enter a declaration of service or make a service attempt, that badge number should then automatically be added so they don't have to type it in. This is how you would deactivate someone via this spreadsheet and then just their last login information. So a few things here. If you want to, let's make a couple changes. So if we want to add a new user, we can add a new user profile. I'm filling in the information that's required, again, leaving column A blank, filling in the name information, email information. Let's say we just want them to be an SA user, so just the basic general user, type that. Then we want to add their badge number. To complete adding a new user, that's all the information you need. You could put is deactivated false. Basically, if that's true, it means the user has been deactivated, and then obviously there's no login information yet. So we've added a new user. I also want to edit a user so you guys can see, like, we can edit a user's role. If you have bulk information that you need to upload or change, you could do this. So let's say we want to take this John Smith tester and make him just an SA user level 2 instead of an SA administrator. We can simply change that, and that will update his profile as well. And then let's say we want to update David Williams information. Let's say it's just David William, period. So we'll go ahead and make that change, and I'll show you that when you import this back into the system, those changes have been made. So I'll go ahead and save this file. I saved it back to my computer, and then let's try to import this back into AZPOINT here. So now that we've made our changes, we exported the spreadsheet, we made our changes, which consisted of adding a new user and editing a profile in terms of their name and editing a profile in terms of their user role. Let's go ahead and we saved it. We'll import it back in, and I'll show you that those changes have been made. I grab the file that it's saved to, I'm importing those, and now I've successfully, you see the success green check mark there. So now we can see, let's start with that new profile we created. You can see we made a new profile with this information and it assigned it that user type. We've got the badge number. That's all the information we put into that spreadsheet, right? We also made John Smith, if you remember, we took him from an SA administration user to an SA user level 2. So you can see that change happened right here. And then the final change we made was that we took the S off of David Williams' last name, and now it is just David William. So you can see we were able to export the user list, make changes to that spreadsheet, and then import it back in. And once we imported it, we were able to see those changes. Again, you can deactivate users. So if you want, if you have a list of people that have left the agency, you could go ahead and you would simply put true, and I can show you that here. So now I'm changing that to true. I'll save it, and if we import it, now that should be deactivated. Oh, okay. Let me export this and we'll try it again. You have to export the spreadsheet each time. You can't make changes to the same spreadsheet. So that's a good thing to point out as well. You can see now our accounts are false, but let's say I want to deactivate this user that I just made. I'm going to turn that to true, save that, and then now I should be able to import this back into the system. It was successful, and now we've got this user that I had created deactivated. You can also do this from the interface here. You can make these changes, but this will be particularly helpful for the larger agencies that have a whole class coming on board from the academy and they need to bulk upload a large number of people, or you've got a list of people that have left the agency that you want to deactivate, or maybe you want to upgrade everyone to the SA user level 2 user type, so everybody has advanced search capabilities. I mean, you can do all of those things from that spreadsheet without having to go individually into each profile and make those changes. So this again is available to all SA administration users. The import-export feature should be available to you from the user management screen. And if you don't see the buttons or have additional questions, let us know. So we've been working on some enhanced reporting, and although it's not ready today, it should be coming up soon. So I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a heads up and a quick demonstration on where those reports will live and how you'll access those when they're ready. So first, every user, keep in mind, will have access to the dashboard and these reports. So from our dashboard screen, you can see here I'm on the dashboard landing page for my agency. There will be a reports button here on the top right-hand side. From that reports button, you'll be able to click into it and access the missing documents reports. You'll also be able to access the servicing agency summary as well as the plaintiff notifications due report. And you'll be able to filter all of those reports based on issuing court or servicing agency as well. So it should be accessible to all from the reports button that will live here on the dashboard page, and you'll be able to do a quick one click into the report and it'll return the search results that you're interested in. So again, we'll be sending communication out as it gets closer to that being completed, and we'll also send a demonstration out once it is completed. But I wanted to give you guys a heads up as to where it's going to live and how you'll access that information once it does go live. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. We are continuously trying to find ways to not only improve the system, but improve our communication out to the servicing agencies as well. So I appreciate you being here and taking the time to listen to this. I hope that you feel equipped with information to be able to handle the changes that are coming. But as always, if you have any questions, concerns, or even feedback, Lloyd and my contact information is right here on screen. Please don't hesitate to reach out to contact us. We're happy to help, and we appreciate hearing your feedback, questions, and concerns. Ultimately, we take that information very seriously, and that typically informs enhancements and ideas for future iterations of this project. So thank you again. Thanks for all that you do, and stay safe.